Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1241. Happy hump day. It's Wednesday. It's trash day. Trash recycling out at the curb. I'm late. I'm going to be late every day. Later than what I had hoped. It's already 7:50. Thanks to Ernie. Puppies are hard, man. Holy shit. How do people with kids do it? I'm exhausted. And it's like not even day 3 for me. Oh man. So fortunately Ernie's going to work. It's take Ernie to work day for my wife. Oh, thank God. I get a breath of fresh air throughout the day. He was actually, it's almost like he's getting worse the last couple days. Like Monday was pretty good. Like in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be hell. And then all Monday afternoon, he was really good. He's a good boy. And yesterday, he was kind of a shithead in the morning, less so than Monday. But then he was more active in the afternoon, and I was able to get work done, but it's still, still there. So, and he, the funny thing is, and I mentioned this yesterday, the funny thing is he's like attached to my wife. He's a mama's boy, big time. And we got him, we met him at the same time. We held him and petted him and played with him the same amount of time at the breeders. He was in my lap on the drive home, but for whatever reason, he's just like attached to my wife. Separation issues. He follows her everywhere. When I trust him, when I try to trust him, he will run to the other side of the house. When my wife's around, he like follows her and trips her, and she's like, I hate when he follows me around. I'm like, I wish he would follow me around. Then I can see him because I don't trust him. He runs away. Oh, so we still love him. And the puppy stage, we're just counting down the days. We were talking about this last night. It's like, at some point we're gonna like think back and remember when he was such an asshole puppy. Oh, you miss those days. I don't know if I'm gonna miss those days these days. So he was quite the little shit this morning. He woke up, I think at like 4. My wife took him out, and then I got up, I took him out, and came back in, and it's the grass very wet. I don't know if it rained last night, but the grass was very wet. So I had took a little more time to dry him off, gave him his breakfast, played, put him back in bed. Still, and he's pissing my wife off. Don't fuck with my wife when she's trying to sleep. So I left him and came downstairs, got dressed, got showered up, dressed, and I could hear him barking. I'm like, fuck. I still had to take the trash out, go upstairs, check in. My wife's like, can you take him so I can get some sleep? I'm like, God damn it. Okay. I'm like, I've got to put him back in bed because I got to take the trash out. Took the trash out, came back in. I brought his pen down here because I was prepared for Ernie to come down. And my wife's like, he's okay. I'm like, okay. So I sneak back downstairs. So Ernie was very close to hanging out with us on Hobby Evolution for the first time, but you did get a glance of Ernie yesterday. He was on the show. We introduced Ernie to YouTube yesterday afternoon. So if you want to get a glimpse of Ernie, Old Earn Dog, he is in a video that went up yesterday afternoon introducing Ernie. Puppies are exhausting. What else is going on? Another pallet. Secured pallet number 20. So I will, because of Ernie related issues, pallets coming today. So I will have the Goodwill Pallet. I don't know if I'll do any live videos. It's not. Here's how I handle the Goodwill Pallets. It's not like I get the Goodwill Pallet and just go through it and have a big old day. It can be cumbersome. I've got to unload it all, which I typically don't do, though this time I will, because I've got the Janesville card show this Sunday. So I'll have to clear my car out, make sure it's cleared out. So it's not like I bring it all in and go through it and do it all in one shot, because it's a fucking mess with piles and everything. So I do it in stages. So I'll create basically what I'll do with this pallet is I'll create a staging area. So I'll bring all of it out of my car into my shipping room to use as a staging area. And then I'll take a few boxes at a time, go through it. I'll create my small piles of players that I'll sell to my customer. eBay pile, Cubs pile. These are quarter box. These are dollar box cards. So might have even more dollar box inventory for Sunday at the Janesville card show. So put together some more dollar boxes yesterday. Did I do any? Actually, I don't think I did anything yet. Now that I think about it, I think that was Monday, not yesterday. So, but anyway, I'll have dollar boxes Sunday at the Janesville card show. I'll have select quarter boxes. I'll have there's a soccer box. There's a hockey box. It's going to be a non-sport box. I think that's going to be it. So those will be my quarter boxes. And then for this is what month is it? This is August. So September. What's my September schedule looking like? I think there's a show in Rockford that I'll do in September. I've got to look at Premier's show schedule to see where I'm going to be in September, because I think my calendar is pretty clear in September. And then October, November. So good. So yeah, Madison Card Show's coming up Saturday, August 24th. 200 tables. We'll have all 4 rooms open again. Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive, free admission, 9 to 3, early birds welcome. Saturday, August 24th, Sheraton Hotel for the Madison Card Show. This Sunday, I'll be in Janesville, Holiday Inn Banquet Hall along I-39, Janesville, Wisconsin. Let's see. The Madison Card Show in September will be September. Let me look at my calendar so I don't September 28th is the Madison Card Show, September 28th. I do have tentative dates for fourth quarter for the Madison Card Show. So I don't want to announce those yet until I have a signed contract. But I do have dates. Tentatively, it's October 19th, because the 26th, the hotel is booked. So the rooms are booked. So it will be October 19th, tentatively. Let's see. And then November, December, I typically get the weekend. So tentatively, don't write this down. November 30th, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, late Thanksgiving this year, and December 28th. This is one of those tricky years when I was deciding on dates for December. Of course, the first weekend is the Oak Creek Card Show. The second weekend, plus I'm on the 30th, so I don't want to do 2 weeks back to back. It has worked. It works in the winter more so than in the summer months, but I want to stay away from that. But Oak Creek is December 7th. Green Bay is December 14th. So I was choosing between December 21st and 28th. It's kind of a horse apiece, but my thought process was there's going to be more Christmas type events and family get-togethers on Saturday, December 21st, being so close to Christmas, opposed to Saturday, December 28th. Last year, I ran the Madison Card Show the weekend after Christmas, was like December 30th, and it was a phenomenal show. I could not believe it. I was hesitant to throw a Madison card show the last week right after Christmas, thinking, well, people are going to have all their money spent. They're not going to want to come out and spend money. Not the case. It was a crazy busy show. So much better than the times where I've done it in the middle of the month. So those are tentative dates. Don't write them down just yet. I don't want to announce it officially until the contracts are signed, because a couple times in the past, and I've even told dealers like tentatively, like I've got my dates, they told me, and then it changed because it was double booked and no contract was signed. And then the dealers are like, well, you told me. And I'm like, I tentatively. So don't write it down. Forget I even said it. See, that's why I don't want to say it. Well, you said on Hobby Evolution on August 7th at 8:01 a.m., you said these dates. Tentatively, not official. Hopefully official, because there's really no December. I can work in December 21st, but it's not ideal. I don't want to go the week before Thanksgiving because that's the Chicago Sports Spectacular. And I would like to go, even though the Sports Spectacular kind of sucks for me as a buyer. It's a great show if you're into like rare stuff. It's a big show. It's got awesome stuff, but the bargain boxes suck. The guys that set up there are guys that set up in Madison and Oak Creek. And why do I want to spend $15 to get in, $15 to park, $20 in tolls to shop from the same guys I can shop from my own show? So, but it's still fun to get out, and half the dealers, it seems, set up at the Madison card show. So there's a lot of familiar faces. And it's nice to get out, and there's some dealers that come in from, outside of the Midwest that have some really cool stuff. So it's fun to see some different things. So, but I guess a couple of weeks before that, I'm going to Dallas. So do I want to do Dallas 2 weeks later, go to the Spectacular? So we're doing Dallas for sure. We'll see how I feel about going to the Spectacular. And if I do, it was in the past, pre-COVID, I would go down for like 2-3 days of the Spectacular. And the last year I did that, I only shopped from 2 dealers, both of which actually, one is the card shop in Freeport, where I can just drive an hour and shop for free. And then the other dealer was sets up in Oak Creek. Doesn't set up in Madison, but he does set up in Oak Creek. And it's like, I can just drive over to Oak Creek if I want to and spend $1 to get in, as opposed to 15 plus free parking in Oak Creek. So so that's that. So we'll see how November comes along, and if I still want to do the Spectacular this year. I did the Spectacular last November, but it was only because I had an event in the area in Lake in the Hills and Crystal Lake. So I went down in the morning and made a day down at the Spectacular, drove out to Crystal Lake for the trivia for Club 400 event. So that's that. What else is going on? I think that's about it. I'm excited to be puppy free for some of the day today. I can get my pallet, can go through some of that. I need a haircut. Haven't got a haircut in a while, since before vacation. So I haven't really left the house the last couple days. Monday and Tuesday, like the only time I left was to go to the post office, and that's like 15 minutes max. So I'm anticipating getting out. What else? I think that's about all. I did add some more vintage to my store. So I utilized yesterday. I mentioned breaking up the day, and Ernie's actually helping me be more focused, believe it or not, in terms of my work day, where my schedule's a little more regimented, because I can't be ADD. Or if I am ADD, I give up peace and quiet, and Ernie goes crazy. So So the thing is, I'm focused with shipping, whether it's either shipping or I got my shipping, caught up in the morning yesterday, and that's kind of I think what I'm aiming for today, morning shipping, and then I'll break for lunch, get the pallet. Of course, I'll have to look through the pallet and then do any listing or scanning. But yesterday, what I did was in the afternoon, let me throw my banner up, 99centcards.com. There's some new stuff in there. Buy 7 or more items at regular price, save 25% off at checkout. That does not apply to auctions, by the way, which I have some great auctions. Almost all of my auctions have bids. So I have 74 auctions running, and 67 of the 74 have bids. So thank you. Check it out, 99centcards.com. That coupon does not work for auctions. What else? What was I going to say? So I utilized my afternoon scanning. So I scanned a whole bunch of, 75 Topps baseball, 76 Topps baseball, 74 Topps baseball, 78 Topps baseball, I think some 77 Topps baseball. So all the late 70s are covered. And then I went through some of my recent pickups, bulk buys, and scanned a bunch of that stuff. Including some I really want to get football. I've neglected football with the exception of the vintage. I've neglected football, which I really need to get on the horse. I should have been listing football a month ago. So I kind of dropped the ball this summer on listing football, but I'm swimming in baseball inventory. But I did make football and basketball vintage a focus because that's going to sell faster than the same years of baseball. Just a far less football and basketball in the 70s was printed than baseball. So that was kind of my focus. It's so easy to list and ship or list and scan and list the 70s using Car Dealer Pro. Identifies everything with like 97.8% accuracy. So got that stuff done. So I scanned about 1,000 cards. I listed, I think 500. I think I uploaded 500 to eBay last night. New laptops coming in handy. Can couch list from Car Dealer Pro. So got about 500 listed from the couch last night. And I think that's going to kind of be just utilize my afternoons to scan, and then I can list and upload from my laptop on my couch. So instead of just laying on the couch, scrolling Twitter and getting upset with all the stupid political posts. So I think that's kind of the new schedule. And I need to lock in on football. So whatever I find in the Goodwill Pallet today, I think I'm going to focus on the foosball. All right. So where are we at? Late start today. Yes, we got dog issues. It was certainly dog related. I've got a scapegoat. I think that's what George says. Good morning, Lewis. Damn it, Ernie. Yes, damn it, Ernie. That's going to be the new saying around here. George is in the house. He says, you now have a scapegoat. Yeah, I can't blame the internet. The internet's solid. I can't blame my computer. The computer's solid. I can't blame the coffee maker because I don't use the coffee maker anymore with my mushroom coffee. And I start my day with water now. So now I have to blame the dog if I'm late. Landon, what's up? Good morning. Steel Cards in the house. Good morning to you. Landon says, keep track of how much you throw away from this pallet. Yeah, somebody brought up yesterday. We were just talking about this. It might have been Landon that brought it up. How many cards do you throw away? When I buy bulk, I don't throw away anything. But when I buy Goodwill pallets, there's a lot of just, there's stuff in like garbage bags, Ziploc bags, and I can't just throw away those bags without looking because those have been some of the shittiest bags with the most beat up cards have been where I found some of the best stuff. There was this one bag it was a reusable bag and it was just grimy. The bottom, like if my wife would have seen me bring this bag into our house, she would have probably yelled at me. And my wife doesn't yell. She would have been very upset and angry because it was nasty. Like every time I would like if I took a break, I had to go wash my hands. That's how nasty it was. But there were two, and they were sleeved and top loaded, like from 1997 Kobe Bryant rookie cards. And those back then were selling for 50. I sold them for $50 each. It was a bag that I almost, like, because it was so nasty, I almost just threw it away. It's like, there's a bunch of just garbage cards in here that I'm going to throw away anyway. I'm going to throw the bag away. Glad I didn't. It's a $100 bag. Another bag was not as dirty and grimy, but it was garbage bag with just garbage cards, throwaways. I'm going through, it's like, these are all beat up, a lot of junk. Just, I can't do anything with these. I'm going to throw them away. There's a Giannis rookie debut ticket stub sold for $225. So that's why I don't do it. There was another box. And sometimes, even if they're not beat up, if they're in a box, like not sorted, just thrown in randomly, even if they're, in decent condition, I'll throw those away if it's junk wax. Glad I didn't with another one. On the top was all 89 Donruss and like 90 Upper Deck. And I'm going through there, and it's like, this is all garbage. And this was the closest one I was to throw away. It's like, because it was from like previous, like many pallets ago. I don't know what pallet it came out of, but it had been sitting on a shelf. It might have even made the move from the old house. And I just dug under to the bottom, and I'm like, if it's all 90 Upper Deck and 89 Donruss, last chance. I pull out a couple pocket schedules, and I'm like, oh, okay, I like pocket schedules, and put those aside. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pull all this crap off the top. All of a sudden, I start finding vintage football, and there's Gale Sayers in there. There's a Dick Butkus in there. There's a Terry Bradshaw rookie card that sold for over $100. So you never know what's in these Goodwill pallets. And sent somebody replied to the tweet yesterday. And I said, like, the best stuff is hidden. Like, none of the best cards, this through 19 pallets, the most recent one, number 19, had a Derek Jeter SP rookie. It was not on the top. There were 3 Mariano Rivera 92 Bowman rookies. Those were not on the top. The Giannis ticket stub, the Terry Bradshaw rookie, the Kobe rookies. None of those were on the top where they put the good cards. Tom Brady rookie, not on the top. Mike Trout rookie, not on the top. Marvel rare promo that sold for $500, not on the top. All of this good stuff has always been buried in a box somewhere or in a binder. There's been some good binder finds as well. So that's the fun part of digging through these pallets. But I'll have to keep track how many cards get thrown away. Each pallet, this is one of the heavier ones because I pay per pound. I don't even know what I paid per pound on this. The price per pound has gone up, and it might have gone up even more. So let's see. $1.04 per pound, which actually hasn't gone up too much. I think the very first pallet I paid like 80 cents a pound for. So this pallet's 625 pounds. 625 pounds. So I paid, after tax and everything, it was like 680. I think is 685 was the total bill for this one. Let's see. Herman's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Orlando, good morning to you. Brian says, we do it with real coffee. Good morning. I do it with mushroom coffee. Cooter says, Ernie needs a night-night Benadryl. Yes. We were in PetSmart last weekend, and they have Doggy Wana. And apparently it's supposed to chill active puppies. But we're pretty conscious of what we give our dogs. We don't, we're actually, we're more cognizant of what we feed our dog than what we feed ourselves. Because we don't like processed foods. Ernie's eating organic or raw food, which it's like raw meat. It's really weird. That's what we do. So it's like we really don't give him anything without talking to our vet. Like, what can we feed him that's not like processed and nasty for a dog? Yet we're eating frozen pizza and ice cream. Mr. Archer, good morning. Peter, what's happening? Good morning. Brian says, I'm with you, Brian. Brian and Brian. I have some great Highlander grog. I do love Highlander grog from Door County. That's a good coffee. Door County is my favorite real coffee, but I'm doing the mushroom coffee. What the hell is on my Kleenex or something? BM plays. BM plays. Are you going to open it on stream? No. I may, depending on what's in there, because a lot of times, and I kind of talked about this earlier, in terms of like, I have to bring it all in. I open boxes randomly. Sometimes it takes me a week and a half to get through the entire thing, 2 weeks. And sometimes, I mean, I still have boxes from previous pallets that I haven't looked at. A lot of them are the junky boxes, but I'm not going to throw them away because of what I just mentioned, what could be in there. So rainy days, usually in the winter when I don't have a garden or I can go outside, it's cold. It's like, I'm going to look through an old Goodwill Pallet box. So depending on how it's set up, and if I see a potential box, I hate doing live streams, going through cards, because I just don't have a good setup and I can't figure out a good setup. Although I do have my little tripod that kind of worked okay last time I did a live, which might have been a Goodwill Pallet. Oh, no, I can't. What the hell I can't remember, but I did a live at one point a few weeks ago. So we'll see. We'll see how it's, if there's something that, because sometimes it's like I'll bring down 4 or 5 boxes, like these might be good boxes, and it's all like 91 Fleer. It's like, okay. Brian has been doing a double shot of espresso with a protein shake. Red Light 34, what's going on? Good morning. Merle says he was barking to remind you to take the trash out. Hey, that could have been. He was barking, and he's like, hey, you forgot to take the trash out. Once I took the trash out, he's like, all right, it's time to go back to bed. Grinding for good. Happy hump day. Yay, Ernie. Kyle, good morning. Congrats on extending your run of good buys with another pallet. Yeah, it's like, man, another pallet? Because I was thinking, like, I've gone through a lot of stuff, and most of my buys have been really good. My singles club buy, not so good. A lot of that stuff's going to end up in quarter boxes. A lot of refractors, which will get divvied up in team lots and maybe another big bulk lot. But for the most part, I've sold a few cards out of there that were in the $10 to $20 range, which is good. I paid 8 cents a card, but a lot of the cards, and this is the issue when you're buying bulk. Getting some $10 and $20 cards is great when you're paying 8 cents a card, if you're cherry picking. It's not so great when you get 30,000 cards and you're paying 8 cents a card and you're only getting a few $10 to $20 cards. So there's a lot of this stuff that is not good eBay inventory because it's going to sit. If I had unlimited listings, I would be less concerned, but I'm bumping right up against 60,000 right now. I think I'm over 58,000. So it's something where I've got to be cognizant of what I do. A lot of this stuff's not good for dollar boxes. There's a lot of stuff that is good for dollar boxes, and some of it will be in my dollar boxes this Sunday. But there's just a lot of stuff that even in quarter boxes is going to sit. I'm going to have a lot of stale inventory. Was not a good buy. I don't think it will. I think it's a loss in terms of just work output and the length of my return on that investment. So I've just got to be a little more careful when I buy big lots like that at 8 cents a card. It's an easier pill to swallow when it's 1 to 2 cents per card. But when you're getting up over a nickel a card, then it's like, I can't do this. So live and learn, right? Live and learn. So, but the estate sale was really well. Sunday, I will receive my cards from PSA. They are back in hand with my group subber 5-star cards, sponsor the Madison Card Show. So I'll see Matt on Sunday in Janesville. So I will have my cards back. I will do a reveal. I know what the grades are, but I'm going to save sharing that information until I do a video. I wasn't planning on doing a video, but I think this is a good, the results make it for good theater. So I'll save the drama for Sunday. So that was a great find, the estate sale. What else did I buy? I got the bulk lot from Steve. That was one of those deals where, what did I pay? $1,000 or $1,200. And I've done pretty well with that. I don't know if I've made that money back because I haven't really had time to dive through. A lot of the stuff is eBay, but it's not scannable stuff. It's like auto relics and non-sport stuff. So anyway, some good deals, some not so good deals. Tracy, what's going on? Good morning. Max says, time to expand your horizons and start listing $5 plus instead of quarter cards. Makes spectacular make sense. I do, and I have been listing a lot more. This year, 2024, my numbers are, my volume is down on eBay, but my sales are way up. Percentage wise. Let's see, year to date. And I think part of that this year is I am being more selective with what I list. The lots are helping. And just liquidity, finding stuff that's moving and just, diving in. Okay, Michael Jordan lots, I can get an easy $100 to $130 per lot, makes those sales go up. So my net sales are up 23% year to date over last year to date. But quantity is down 5%. So I like that trend. Burbank still listing new items on eBay every day. I thought they were leaving eBay now. They are leaving. I don't know why they're listing every day. That's not a question I can answer. You'll have to ask Burbank. Card Safari, East Coast National making a bold move going head-to-head with Fanatics Fest next weekend. Now, here's the thing about card shows. I guarantee you the East Coast National had their date set before Fanatics Fest. And you know what? I don't think is the East Coast National, isn't East Coast National in upstate New York, where Fanatics Fest is in New York City. I don't think it has any impact. I don't see any drop in traffic demand for the East Coast National than if Fanatics Fest was on a different weekend. I just don't think that's going to be now if East Coast National is in New York City, maybe you'll see a little bit, but I bet it's a great show. Where's the East Coast National? But I bet they had their date before Fanatics Fest set their date. Westchester County. Where's Westchester County? Oh, so it is pretty close to NYC. So it looks like is it like just north of New York City? Positioned with New York City. Where's my New Yorkers? I don't know my New York geography. Card Safari says East Coast National is in White Plains, about 30 minutes. There you go. All right. Thank you, guys. East Coast National, White Plains, 30 to 45 from Manhattan. Even being that close, I bet East Coast National doesn't have. Fanatics Fest is going to be a completely different show East Coast National's kind of an old school show, right? Is there going to be like vintage there, and you're going to get a different now? Are there going to be some overlap? Absolutely. But I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't see a big drop. Let's see. Brian says, I almost bought that pallet, but I just don't have the space for all those cards. And that's, the thing. People think I have this like inside, like Goodwill calls me and says, hey, I got that pallet for you. But everybody else has equal opportunity to these pallets. So the thing is, when it comes down to it, somebody's like, I don't want to spend $700. I don't have space. Or you may be 7 states away, 3 states away. Well, I don't want to drive. You can have it shipped. You can ask them to have. I think they do ship them, and it's going to cost you. It's going to double, and now you're going to pay $1,500. I don't know what shipping prices are on a pallet anymore. Used to. I can probably get pretty close on a guess, but there's a lot of things that come down to it. Peeps, what's going on? Good morning. Let's see. Brian says storage units are a waste of money. More bad advice from LRS. He's good at that. If you're going to be good at something, be great at something. And LRS is good at bad advice. Waste of space, trying to be punny. Jay Grimes, good morning. Hit that like button. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Orlando says, can you share pictures of the pallet? So I can. Here's the latest pallet. Where are we at? I'll share my screen here. So this is what a pallet looks like. It's actually a Gaylord. Gaylord is just a giant box on top of a pallet. So I pick these up, and you're like, well, how do you get that in your Ford Edge? So you unload it. So basically, my strategy is I have an empty SUV when I pick it up, and all the cards that they sprinkle on top, which that's to draw you in. All the good stuff's somewhere in the middle, buried in a box, and so I'll take those top cards and I'll put those in a box, and then I just start putting a puzzle together in the back of my car. The difficult thing though is how would you load this pallet with and I'm going to tell you what all it contains. So it contains binders. It contains 800 count boxes, 200 count boxes. It contains sometimes garbage bags of cards. It'll contain 5-row boxes, 4-row boxes. It'll contain giant boxes with boxes inside. So what do you think goes at the bottom of these Gaylords? 5-row boxes, creating a base, right? And then what goes on top? The smaller boxes and the garbage bags. So when I'm unloading, what goes in first? You guessed it. So I've got to get creative. If there doesn't look like there's garbage bags in this one, so the garbage bags go into like my back seat on the floor or front seat on the floor. And then the 800 count boxes I can put, as a base in the back of my SUV. And then I try to create space for where a 4-row or a 5-row box, because I know at the bottom of that Gaylord, there's likely going to be a 5-row box or a couple 5-row boxes somewhere at the bottom. So that's how I load her up. It's like a game of Tetris with the Goodwill pallets. So I will, and this is Goodwill pallet number 20. And I always say I want to do video, and I never have, because it's just kind of a pain. And sometimes the FedEx, usually when I get there, FedEx is there at the same time, because I pick it up usually around the same time each pallet I pick up. And so there you go. That's a Goodwill pallet. Where are we at? Double A Cards, what's going on? Good morning. I need to try mushroom coffee. Where do you get it? Amazon. I order mine from Amazon, and I think I've had better luck off Amazon than going to the website. Rise, RYZE is what I use, and I think that's probably the better one. There's knockoff brands. I don't know anything about them, so I can't say one way or another, but I use Rise. I know they have some poor reviews in terms of customer service and delivery, like it takes a long time. If you order from the website, I order from Amazon and I don't get it next day or in 2 days. So I've got to be strategic when I order. It's like, oh, I'm getting low. I've got about a week left because it takes I ordered 2 packs this time. It was actually cheaper. I think I only paid like 20. The first few I bought was like $40. These were only 20 and they're the same size. So I order mine off Amazon. I use Rise mushroom coffee. Mark says, good morning. Ernie is adorable. Getting ready for the East Coast National. There you go. Mark's not going to Fanatics Fest. Mr. Archer says, now that Shaw, Trientos, and Alcantara are in Iowa, do you think the Cubs bring any guys up to the majors before the end of the season? Possibly. Right now, I mean, the Cubs, and I think they won again last night. I think they lost, what day is it? I think they lost Monday, won last night. If you look at the standings, let's look at the wild card standings. I mean, the Cubs still have a shot at a wild card spot. All right, there's 6 games. Ooh, it's kind of dicey. So there's, let's see, 116. They played 116, so 26, 36, 46. I mean, there's still 40 some games left. There's 6 games back of the wild card, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams ahead of them. A lot can happen. We've seen crazier things happen. I don't know is the answer. I think it all depends on if the Cubs were 12 games out of the wild card right now. I think it'd be a different story. Yeah, we probably would see some of the young guys come up, especially the guys that are ready. But right now, still kind of in contention. I don't think we'll see anybody unless an injury comes up. Obviously, we can't predict that. So it's kind of an unpredictable scenario right now. If we do, I think the first guy up would be Owen Casey. I don't think any of the 3 guys that just went up to AAA, I don't think any of those guys are on the 40-man roster, nor are they coming up on their 6 years where they have to be added or be put on the either protected, put on the 40-man to be protected from the Rule 5 draft. Cubs 40-man. Alcantara is on the 40-man. Shaw is not. Trientos is not. Alcantara is. Owen Casey is, but Alcantara just got called up to AAA. So if a guy is going to come up, I think it would be Owen Casey. He's not on the 40-man. I don't think yet. But he does need to be put on the 40-man before the Rule 5 draft because he is a 6-year free agent. So Owen Casey's not on the 40-man. So I can see the Cubs putting Owen Casey on the 40-man before the season. I think they do have a full 40-man. After the trade deadline, there were a couple spots open. But I think they added a pitcher, a relief pitcher. So to be added to the 40-man, they would have to either DFA or let's see. They've got 3 catchers on the 40-man because what's his name? Nito is hurt. So I don't know. You know what? Casey may not, based on the 40-man. I don't think there's going to be a lot of movement on the 40-man here in this coming offseason. I don't think Matt Mervis stays on the 40-man. Brennan Davis, I don't think he's And then there's some relief pitchers, Betancourt and Nito. They're not going to be on next year's team. So there's going to be a lot of movement. So I guess if one of those guys right now, probably Alcantara, but he just made it to AAA. And if he struggles at AAA, then he's not going to make it. They're not going to add Shaw or Triantos. They would add Casey first to the 40-man because he's Rule 5 eligible. So Max says, just need a top-down camera. Brian says, Dollar Club doesn't have any reseller lots in it. Dollar Club. Singles Club? Kyle says, hopefully there's some good stuff for the NASCAR shelf in this pallet. It has been a while since there's been any. The early pallets were felt like nothing but NASCAR. Because I think I sold 2 bulk lots to Kyle on NASCAR. 12 binders or more of NASCAR. I had a box filled with boxes of all NASCAR. But it's been very light on NASCAR lately. Let's see. Brian says, after selling all my clutter at my recent rummage sale, I think I have to come to the conclusion that I will never buy a storage unit. Feels good to get rid of stuff. East Coast National in White Plains. Victor, good morning. Max says, I sure hope those after-show crybabies have a good time at Fanatics Fest. You see that shit heading out for a sale. I did not see that shit. I don't know what after-show is. After-show crybabies. I do not know what that is. East Coast National definitely gets a different crowd than what the Fanatics show gets. East Coast National, Mike Tyson will be there. Derek Jeter's going to be there. Tom Brady. Lots of yellowed top loaders at the East Coast National. Let's just say that. That was the vibe I like. That's the vibe I was thinking. Mark says East Coast National has a ton of vintage, been going since the late 80s. Michael Renicke's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Totes. Flawed Thinker says, my parents do the storage unit thing. They bought a unit a few months back for $38 and have made almost $3K so far. It's a luck of the draw thing, but it can definitely be profitable. It's something that I've always wanted to do, but we have some storage unit sales here in Madison. At least a few times a year I've seen them. But when I've seen them, it just looks like junk. And I've talked to somebody here, not really locally, but not far away in Wisconsin, and they do storage sales, and says 90% or more of the time it's junk. It's, people are leaving that stuff behind for a reason, but very small part, it can be profitable. They still have a few grand worth of stuff to list, like designer clothes and whatnot. Very nice. See, this is more bad advice. I don't need a U-Haul truck. I have an SUV that fits everything. Why would I rent a U-Haul truck? The exact opposite route you would want to load into your car. Let's see. Kyle says, with speedy delivery, a 700-pound pallet could be shipped for under $200 anywhere in the Midwest. Wow. That's a lot cheaper than I thought. I was thinking like $400. Wow. Speedy delivery. When I worked in transportation, we were not contracted with speedy delivery. I had a client who used that, like they used them all the time. I think they had some issues, but every LTL, I hated LTL. It's like whenever I either acquired a new client or an existing client had LTL, I would dump it off to somebody else in my office. It's like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with the headaches of LTL shipments. Mr. Archer says, Jed has made comments about the 2025 team a few times, which is where my question comes from. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely playing for next year. But I based on where they're at, I just don't know if any youth will come up. Where are we at? Mark says, my Mets are starting to leak oil. I don't see them making the wild card. They have 2 brutal road trips this month. Brian says, yes, singles club. Card Safari says, I may need to fly in to watch LRS work this negotiation at the next Madison card show. Oh, I missed that. If I decide to bring a bunch of cards worth $1 to $5 each, sell it to the dealer, how much would you pay me? If I sell it to you, I want hard, cold cash. Come on out to the Madison card show Saturday, August 24th. Come find me and we'll work out a deal. And we'll get it on video. Card Safari, and Card Safari, will you film it for us? Card Safari will come out, and me and Low Roller Scratcher, we're going to do a deal. John says, I'm amazed that people are still leaving their storage units unpaid and not just liquidating them themselves. Retracting. I'm not surprised to buy humans anymore. I think in the case of storage units, I think in most cases, you're dealing with like basically like transients in terms of house hoppers, couch surfers, where they just have a storage unit because they don't have a house. They just sleep on their friend's couch. You have issues with drugs or crime in general. Doesn't have to be drugs. Crime, where they're in jail, put my stuff in a storage unit. Or you have death, where there's no next of kin. So I think that's where a lot of the storage units come from. So it's not surprising to me. But I've also seen, I know people that have been in these situations. So for me, it's not surprising because I've witnessed storage unit type stuff. Like, oh, I just forgot about it. Quit paying my bills. I don't want to pay that anymore. T206 Kid says, everyone sees that the White Sox actually won a game. I was bummed that they won a game. I was bummed. Low Roller just cares about money. I wouldn't do any negotiation. As long as I can get rid of it and collect cash, I am happy. Well, I'm going to lowball you then. I decided to bring a bunch of cards worth $1 to $5. There you go. You just repeated yourself. You fly out to Madison or drive to Madison and we'll make a deal. Brian says, no wife and kids tonight. I need to figure out what I should do. A retail. There you go. If you want to lose money, rip some retail. JC3, what's up? LTL is like IBM. We're too big to fail, so tell customer it's our way or the highway. That's true. That's true. The thing with LTL is you have one pallet. Got a 700 pallet of baseball cards I need to ship to Nebraska. You're not going to pay a full truckload. It's going to be a lot more reliable, but you're going to pay a lot more. You're going to pay $1,200. Actually, probably now you're going to pay a lot more than $1,200 from Wisconsin to Nebraska, maybe $1,500, where you're going to pay an LTL carrier a few hundred. Brian says retail rip for sure. Mark says, Anthony, I bet you a nickel the Mets lose the series to the White Sox. Oh, a nickel. High roller. T206 Kid says, most likely the Mets are getting beat up by bad teams now. I think it's the Cubs Sox this week, right? Max says, storage units are usually death, default, or move. Most are junk, but if you do it enough, you'll make a killing. Low Roller says, storage units very popular on YouTube. There you go. You can make more money. Buy a storage unit, put it on YouTube. Make money. Cold, hard cash. T206 Kid says, I'm going to be back home in early September, going to a Mets-Reds game at City. Max says, got to have buyers for several different categories. I buy off a bunch of storage unit buyers. Let's see. No card show in Garfield. Low Roller says he got all these cards on Whatnot for free. Max says, careful, Char. Intel probably said the same thing. Uh-oh. There you go. That's what I had for today. Goodwill Pallet number 20 has been acquired. I'll be getting it later today. We'll see. I probably won't go live, but I might. We'll see. We shall see. If anything, I'll post some pictures on Twitter of what's in there. Max says after show was put on by guys bitching they couldn't get a spot at the National downtown Kaboom Boys. I saw a lot of that. And like Ryan's Cards on Twitter's like going around taking photos of like tables, like, oh, they give this guy a table. And like, shut up. Like, who the fuck cares? I don't know. All right. So hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. New vintage added, 75 through 78 Topps baseball, about 500 singles added last night. Auctions are still rolling. I've got 74 live auctions currently. Some good stuff in there. I think I've got bids on like 90% of the auctions. 67 auctions of the 74 have bids. As low as 99 cents. It is free shipping. My bad. So you save. Where are we at? There we are. 67 out of 74 auctions at 99centcards.com have bids. So check that out. That's all. That's all. So, hey, have a great day. Like, subscribe, visit 99centcards.com. We'll do this again tomorrow. Who knows what time? We're on puppy time. So it could be 7 a.m. It's probably not going to be 7 a.m. for the foreseeable future. Could be as late as almost 8 a.m. like we had today. I'll try to aim for 7:30. That seems like that's kind of been, let's see, what's been the average? I think we got on at 7:20 on Monday, 7:30 yesterday, 7:50. Hopefully we buck that trend and start going back the other way. So we'll aim for 7:30, whatever puppy time tells us. So have a great day. See you tomorrow.